In this alternate future, cities have been abandoned because of war and environmental degradation. This has led to a totalitarian military dictatorship called the regime taking over. Every person under 18 is taken from their families and sent to a military academy where they go through brutal training and indoctrination. In the forest, Wei sees is running around when she sees a bird in a tree. She pulls out her slingshot and gets ready to shoot, but instead she stretches her hand while whispering a word in an indigenous language. Sadly, the bird flies away. Her mother Niska asks her why she didn't kill it, and Wei says that she was listening to it. The duo continues with their walk and Wei gets distracted by the surroundings, so she ends up strapping on a bear trap. Niska rushes to remove the trap and bandage the injury before helping Wei walk home. Their place is actually an abandoned vehicle that they transformed into a house. That night Niska gets worried because Wei's wound keeps bleeding. At that moment she hears a noise and looks out the window to discover a drone approaching. She tells Wei to keep quiet before she goes outside with her gun. Niska carefully sneaks around and when she sees an opening, she shoots the drone down. Once it crashes on the ground, she shoots it a few more times just in case. Knowing that more drones will come, Niska packs their things and leaves with Wei after setting their home on fire. The duo starts crossing the woods and Wei complains about the pain in her leg, but Niska forces her to keep going to avoid danger. When they reach the river, they find their boat and escape. They row for the entire day and night, and in the morning they finally make it to a war-torn city. Niska tells Wei that nobody can see her face, so she ties a bandana around it and makes her keep her hood up. As they sneak around, they hear the broadcast on the loudspeakers that reminds the locals that concealing minors is illegal and the intake age has been lowered to 4. When the duo is about to enter an abandoned house, the neighbor sees them and notices that Wei is a child. A scared Niska gets her knife ready, but the man assures her he means no harm and reveals he's been hiding his son Trey too. Niska just tells him that they must stick to themselves. While Niska is asleep, Wei sneaks out of the house and sees Trey standing nearby. She follows him to his garden and he shows her a fallen drone, assuring her that it's been there for ages. However, Wei can hear a noise and thinks that the drone is still breathing. Suddenly the drone activates, but Niska shows up just in time to hit and break it. Then she grabs her daughter and drags her back to the house. Soon the authorities known as Jingos arrive and try to take Trey. He and his father swear that he's 18, but the Jingos use a device on Trey's wrist that confirms that he's 15. Trey is taken away and his father is killed when he tries to stop them. Sometime later Niska and Wei reach a street market in the slums, but there are a few guards around, so they have to sneak around carefully. Big screens on the walls show shameless propaganda for the regime and Niska is sad to see that her old friend Pierre is promoting it. Suddenly a bunch of drones fly over the market and drop food rations on the street, so the crowd rushes to grab as many as they can. However, Niska keeps Wei hidden. While everyone is distracted, Niska takes Wei to her old friend Roberta's house. After hugging Niska, Roberta remembers how Wei used to be when she was little and lets her feed her cat to keep her distracted. Then the women talk privately in the kitchen and Niska points out that Wei needs medicine because her wound is infected, but Roberta explains that the Jingos patrol the clinics now. Niska also mentions Pierre, revealing that he's Roberta's son. When Roberta shows Niska a picture of Pierre's graduation from the academy, she says that maybe Wei should attend too. That way she can get her citizenship and a better life. Niska refuses since it would mean not seeing her daughter ever again. The next morning Niska wakes up when she hears Jingo cars entering the market. The officers start checking every person on the street and Niska doesn't know what to do because Wei's condition keeps getting worse. Roberta points out that the Jingos could save the girl's life, so Niska tells her daughter that she'll get her the medicine and goes outside. She tells the officers that there's a minor in that house and runs away while they take Wei's to the military academy. When she finds a private spot, Niska has a breakdown. 10 months later, Niska is living poorly in an old apartment. She's befriended the locals and when she picks up food rations, she gives them to those who need them. Niska spends her day working at the market, where she's visited by her new friend Randy, who claims he's found something that will save them and asks her to meet him later. After work, Niska visits the fence outside the academy where people have put up a memorial for the kidnapped kids. Niska cries her heart out before adding Wei's favorite toy. When she returns home, she finds some Jingos searching her building for a group of terrorists that attack the academy. Meanwhile, Wei's is up and healthy in the military academy. She follows every order and trains with the other kids without issues. In 1 week they'll have selection day, which means that a few chosen ones will be sent to Emerson State. When it's time to recite the pledge, Wei doesn't repeat the words. In her bedroom, Wei keeps adding details to the map of the academy that she keeps hidden in her bed. She overhears a girl being taken away and that night, she worries because the girl doesn't return. Sometime later Niska meets Randy in a bar. He explains he's found a guy who can get them a citizenship by reprogramming their IDs. However, the idea of living in Emerson doesn't appeal to Niska because she'd have to live with the upper-class jerks. Randy changes her mind by pointing out that this would allow her to see her daughter again. That afternoon Niska visits the memorial again and falls asleep. She wakes up in the evening and sees a wild horse nearby. She approaches it gently and manages to calm it down. There are other horses tied to trees nearby, so she tries to bring the lost one to them. At that moment she hears a voice and follows it to find Charlie with a laptop sending instructions through a microphone. Then 2 adults sneak out of the academy with some children, and Niska thinks they're abducting the kids, so she rushes to attack. The men immediately overpower her and cover her head with a bag. A few hours later they remove the bag and Niska finds herself in a dark room. Her captors explain she's in the land of the indigenous people known as Cree, and Niska reveals she's Cree too by speaking the language a little. This group has been pulling off conducting night raids to rescue their kidnapped children from the academy. The leader Ida asks Charlie to do a background check to confirm Niska's story since there's a chance she may be useful. Niska is taken to the bonfire outside where Charlie is sharing the story of what happened. She's introduced to the elder, who explains that long ago they were told a guardian would come from the north to save them. She believes that Niska is that guardian. The group celebrates the rescued children with some music and Niska is well fed. When it's time for bed, Niska waits until nobody is watching and goes out to explore the camp. There's a tent full of children and the mere sight of them makes her cry. Soon Ida finds her and Niska tells her about Wacy's situation. Ida is impressed that Niska managed to keep her child hidden for so long and welcomes her to her community. The next morning Niska wants to go home, but the locals tell her that Wacy's is in danger. The academy pretends to be a place of education but actually trains the kids to become Jingo puppets. They can rescue Wacy's and bring her to Niska, but in return they want Niska to guide all the rescued children to a safe zone up north, which Niska thinks is a myth. The group assures it's a real place and that they need someone who knows how to live off the land. Niska claims it's impossible because the journey would take 3 weeks and she can't keep the kids hidden from drones for that long. Leo tells her that she needs to get Wacy's out now because if she's sent to Emerson, they won't be able to reverse the brainwashing. A frustrated Niska bursts out and Leo follows her, unable to understand why she wants Wacy's to stay with the Jingos. Niska points out that the Jingos have food, medicine, and education, then she runs away. Leo tells Ida that Niska isn't the guardian, but Ida thinks she just needs time. At the military academy, Wacy's sees the missing girl return in a very traumatized state. She also sees a bird on the fence and tries to talk to it in the Cree language, causing the bird to fly in front of her before leaving. In the evening Wacy's waits until everyone is asleep to leave her bed. She picks the lock and manages to leave her room. Unfortunately, as soon as she runs outside, the alarm activates and the guards quickly catch her to lock her in a cell. The next morning Niska returns to her building and is devastated to discover that her favorite neighbor is dead. When she looks around, she notices even more bodies. Randy soon finds her and covers her face while explaining that there's a virus in the area. The borders are closing tonight, so they need to pick up their new IDs fast and leave. When they reach the market, they hear the loudspeakers mention an obligatory evacuation and urge the locals to go to a departure point. They find Roberta, whose house has been raided. She's sure that the government put something in the food rations. Randy tells Niska that they can take Roberta to a shelter, but she can't cross the border with them. As they try to cross the city, a guard finds them and forces them to follow him. They get handcuffed and checked for the virus before they're pushed into a bus. Randy has a smoke bomb and tells Niska to wait for a signal to run through the back door. In return, Niska says that Roberta is coming with them. At that moment, Roberta notices that one of the Jingos is Pierre and tries to reach him, but the officers point their guns at her and send her back to her seat. Then Randy throws the smoke bomb and runs to the back, but Roberta runs to the front hoping to see her son. When a Jingo tries to stop her, Niska jumps on him and starts choking him with the handcuffs. A second Jingo is about to shoot her, but Randy comes back to stab him. Once both guards are dead, the duo takes a gun and rushes outside. Roberta is slowly approaching Pierre, who has his gun out and asks her to stand back in confusion. She tries to connect with him, but Pierre insults her with some political buzzwords and shoots her on the spot. Randy tries to help her only for another Jingo to shoot his hand. Suddenly the Jingos start dropping dead and Niska discovers that Leo and Simonis have come to rescue her. They say a few traditional words to say goodbye to Roberta while Niska realizes that Leo was right about the brainwashing, so she agrees to help. She bandages Randy and apologizes for leaving him alone before going away with her people. During the car ride, Niska notices that they've passed the checkpoints with no issues. Leo reveals he has a password because his father is an energy diplomat. He also knew about the virus and explains that Emerson did it. The Jingos are going to start a war and plan to use the kids as an army. Then Simonis tells her the story of the elder who prayed for 4 days and 4 nights. She had a vision of enormous mosquitoes swarming towards them and a stranger from the north who would save them. Meanwhile, Wacy's is taken out of the cell and sent to her room. An instructor insults her heritage and her people while calling her Elizabeth instead of her real name. Wacy's tries to deny it all, so the instructor shows her a 10-month-old video of Niska telling the Jingos where to find her, leaving her heartbroken. Afterward, Wacy's is taken to weapon training and breaks the academy record in assembling a gun. Another girl says she cheated and calls her a savage, so a furious Wacy's jumps on her and starts beating her up. The instructor is pleased and waits several minutes before stopping her. Then the lady wonders if anyone would like to challenge Wacy's, but nobody steps up. She asks Wacy's if she's ready to fight for her country, and when the girl answers yes, the instructor announces that Wacy's will be sent to Emerson tomorrow. For the first time, Wacy's recites the pledge with everyone. At the Cree camp, Niska crashes the private council meeting. She's desperate to start the raid and wonders why they're waiting, so Ida explains that the Jingos have built a new mining road overnight. They're heading toward their camp, so they need to leave tonight. Niska says she won't help them if they don't save Wacies first, and the group is wary. One of the elders gives a speech about sticking together, and the council agrees to get Wacies before the evacuation. That night, Charlie guides Niska and Leo through an earpiece so they can break into the academy using the sewers. When they reach the guard station, they wait until the man is gone, and Leo uses the computer so Charlie can hack into the system. He finds the room with the girls and gives them directions while unlocking all the doors remotely. Niska finally finds Wacies, who accuses her of abandoning her. A crying Niska apologizes and they hug to reconcile. When the guard returns to his station, he finds the hack in the system and activates the alarm. The Jingos start searching the corridors and Leo has to kill 2 to defend himself. Charlie sees more soldiers outside and informs the team that the Kree camp has been found, so the troops are about to invade. Niska tells Leo that there's no time for her to save the kids and tries to leave with Wacies, who says that something is coming. Charlie also sees something and urges them to get out, so Leo asks Niska to save the kids while he distracts the Jingos. After saying a traditional prayer, Leo runs to the corridor and tries to confront a drone. However, Niska comes back and shoots the drone down first. Then Niska tells Wacies to get all the kids out of the room while Charlie starts locking up doors to slow down the guards. Wacies also remembers the map she made and tells the group that she knows a way out. At the Kree camp, everyone is packing their things when they see the soldiers getting closer. Ida orders Simonis to lead the people in her name while she waits for the kids and gives an uplifting speech. As everyone gets into position, the soldiers arrive and ask them to surrender while throwing gas bombs at them. The warriors throw the bombs back as a truck arrives with Niska's group. They're surprised that the soldiers let them pass, and Leo realizes they're trapping them on purpose. Wacies grabs her head because she hears a strange noise that nobody else can hear. Suddenly the sky fills with drones, just like in the Elder's vision. Niska tries to make Wacies hide in the truck, but she runs out to confront the soldiers face to face. She raises her hand and says the word she used on the birds, which allows her to control a drone. Charlie realizes that she's the real guardian as she makes the drones point their guns at the soldiers, causing them to retreat. The Kree start to celebrate their victory, but one last soldier is hiding in the tall grass. He tries to shoot Wacies, so Niska jumps in to act as a shield. Simonis quickly kills the soldier while everyone runs to check on Niska, who is slowly dying. The group covers her with a blanket and Wacies cuddles her mother to keep her company in her last moments. The drones form a circle of life around them. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.